Hi everybody, Frank from Tiny Plastic Spaceman here, and today we're going to be unboxing the Sparmax Arism Viz air compressor. Okay, so let's have a look at this little thing. This is a cool little air compressor, 100 to 240 volts, that's pretty good. And there we go, there's some spec for you if you want to pause and read about it. I think it's quite cool. You can actually add a battery to this thing, which is really neat. Let's see, airflow from, up to 50 psi, comes with a pressure gauge, air hose, and airbrush holder, and Silver Bullet Plus, which is a pretty cool little thing. And I haven't actually tried the Plus, that's a pretty handy gadget. So yeah, we're going to be trying this with the Sparmax Max 4 airbrush. That you can see the full review up here in the links. And yeah, so let's just crack this open and see what we get inside. So here we go. Now I've got the UK version, so it comes with a full warranty. I think it's quite cool. You can get a battery pack to go with this thing. It's optional, and there's a pretty small and light compressor, so it would be pretty neat to be able to take this to even, anywhere you need to go, conventions, travel dates, or whatever. Sorry about that. Bumping the thing. And look how small this is. Let's get all these other bits out. So we have a power adapter, power plug. Again, this is a UK plug, but there's all kinds that you can get. Instructions. We might have to look at those because I'm not sure how this all goes together, or how it works. I can tell you how it'll go together, but so there we go. That's the unit. It's pretty neat, very small. If you want to see, I reviewed the Arism before. You can see that review up here. But this is even smaller, I'm pretty sure. I do wonder where the battery pack goes. Maybe it just plugs into this. It doesn't look like you actually take anything apart and put in anything like an RC car battery or anything like that. Okay, so let's unwrap this and get it plugged in. And basically acts as a handle for your airbrush. So it's pretty handy. So yeah, you can basically spray like that, and then it has a air adjustment knob here. So that's all the way in, that's all the way out. So let's turn this back on. You can feel the air coming out. I think this is basically, so as I tighten this, so now it's at 15 psi, it's just constantly running. You can hear the air, and as I tighten that down, the air pressure gets higher and higher. Now it's at 20, it's about 25, that's the most I would want to be for, say, model painting or figure painting. 30 or 35, the most I'd want to be for RC car painting. Any higher than that, and we're talking painting t-shirts and things like that. So you can hear the air as stopped. So this is basically very much like the Sparmax Arism air compressor. So you can see where it's still pumping, it's still going, and there is a fan. I can feel a fan. Either that or it's excess air that's just flowing out of here to help. I presume there's cooling vents back and front and back to help cool the motor that's inside. Now if I want to drop it down, and you can hear the stress of the motor drop down quite a bit, but then the air pressure coming out of here just gets louder and louder. That's just because it's letting the air bleed out. So it's an interesting interesting development. And like I said, we've seen this before on the Sparmax Arism. This is the Sparmax Viz. So it's an interesting thing, and additionally, it's interesting. I'm just going to shut this off so I can talk. It's an interesting change from the Sparmax normal Arism. Give me a moment and I'll have that out. So this is the standard Arism. You can tell that the hardware is a bit similar because there's the gauge is there and the output's there. At the back, obviously the handle's a little bit different. At the back, there's a transformer inside, whereas the transformer here is external. Yeah, so it's a interesting change. Oops, sorry about that. I don't mean to keep bumping the camera. Now the Arism, that had a similar method. Now this is the hose that comes with the Arism. You get a hose, you get the original Silver Bullet pressure moisture trap. So there you can see the differences. But with the Arism you get this additional valve, which basically is this same thing that is up here. So the more you turn this in, the more the air is trapped, and basically this is both compressors are constantly running. There's no tank. But the Silver Bullet Plus combines the pressure valve, or the MAC, PAC, whatever brand you want to go with. I think Iwata call it the micro air valve or micro air control or something like that. Badger call it the PAC, precision air control or something. Yeah, so it's interesting. I do wonder what this seems to have a click there, so I'm just going to turn this on. Ah, that's pretty neat. So when it's off, when you take it off, it runs. But when you set it down, it's meant to be heavy enough to where the compressor stops. So that's actually pretty neat. That's a pretty neat little thing. So it's not constantly running, and you are meant to use that as your airbrush holder. Whereas this doesn't have that. There's a couple of extra innovations which make it interesting. So is it good enough? I mean, if you already have this, should you upgrade? I don't really think so. I don't think you need to. If you're looking for something that is your first airbrush compressor, I think this will be just fine. If you're in an apartment or a flat or in a place where you need to be absolutely silent, to be honest, I think you're better off going with a tank compressor. Just my opinion. Now, me personally, I have a very large tank on my air compressor that I use, so it hardly ever has to run. And I know there are people who use basically gigantic air tanks that you just go out and fill it up at a gas station or petrol station, and you just fill it up and it just runs. It's literally silent, and those are pretty good. But you have to go out and fill it up every now and then. I'd rather have a compressor with a big tank. So yeah, that's my sort of overall feeling on this. It is a good upgrade to the original Sparmax Arism. Maybe not enough to upgrade unless you want to sell this one off to buy this. The Silver Bullet, I've always been a fan of it. It's pretty cool. It does make a nice little handle. It is weird that, it is nice. You have like this flow of air that also helps keep your hand nice and cool. So if that is a problem for you, if you get sweaty hands, and then you just press that down. It's not quite heavy enough to hold down that switch. But I do like that. That's a pretty cool innovation. This is a nice upgrade to the Magic Bullet. So there you go. That's my feelings on the Sparmax Arism Viz. So hopefully you found this informative. If you have, please give us a like and subscribe down there. Feel free to ask any questions you need in the comments, and be sure to look for us on Tiny Plastic Spaceman. Just search for us on all of the various social channels. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Happy wargaming.